What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Just Swingin podcast. Today, I have my very first guest. It is Jeremiah Newman, a right-handed pitcher. He is going to be pitching for Grambling this upcoming season. Jeremiah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
Of course. So, Jeremiah, you might not know, but you were one of my first interviewees. I don't even know how to really say that. Interviewers. You were one of my first interviewees when I started working at Lake Point. So now you're my first guest on my podcast, full circle.
Right, full circle. Just come back around.
So, Jeremiah, you grew up in Georgia.
Yeah, definitely.
Basketball is huge here. Football is huge here. What made you get into baseball specifically?
Well, realistically, I was playing t-ball like a while back. Like, all the little kids their parents just put in everything. But so I stopped playing and just like experimented with basketball, baseball, football, soccer, like all of that. And then like seventh grade, I was just chilling. And then one of my friends just asked me to try out for the baseball team. And I was like, sure, why not? But it really didn't pique my interest until I started seeing pitchers like Marcus Stroman. And like I would watch him pitch, his charisma, his personality, and like he was just like a really good pitcher at the time too. So I just wanted to be like him. So that's what really got me into it.
Okay, so what was it about Marcus Stroman specifically that made you feel, some type of way, made you want to pitch?
I would say like he just pitches with a lot of passion and emotion. Like normally you don't see that many guys that are just out there pitching with that much fire. Like normally people are like most pitchers like at the high level, like MLB pitchers, they're very like modest. Like they'll just go about their business and just do what they do. But like, they're very rare. You see like a flashy, like just charismatic pitcher like Marcus Stroman just go out there and do his thing.
Going out there, popping his G. I know what you mean. And two, like pitchers are cool, but I do know what you mean. Like, and they have to be like super locked in because, they're on the mound. They're kind of like on an island. But pitchers usually are the most ones that don't have personality, in my opinion. So it is cool to see somebody like that with personality.
Yeah, for sure.
So did you start out pitching or did you start out at another position and then just grew into pitching?
Like initially I was playing like corner infield, center field, and then like the more like the closer I got like playing like high level travel ball, that's when I switched over to pitching around like 16 U.
So what travel teams? I met you with your high school team. What travel teams were you playing with?
I played Team Halo. So it's team ran by Curtis George is out of Atlanta. A lot of the top really black baseball players that from Atlanta played with them, including Braswell, a couple of my guys, Breon Horn, Kobe Head, even Bubba Chandler and Logan McGuire. But yeah, it's a really good program.
Okay, so like I said, you're a Georgia boy. You grew up playing baseball in Georgia. This past MLB draft, it was a lot of Georgia high school baseball players selected, current high school players, and then there was a lot of former high school players that might have went on to college, but they were still from Georgia. What makes this baseball competition so great in Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia, like you said, it's just like a cesspool for producing baseball talent. Like, I would say personally, it's the high-level travel programs, such as like East Cobb and Team Elite, that come out here and they just develop players and just funnel. And like, it's just maybe like guys, brothers, cousins, and uncles play baseball. It's just like a lot of it just runs in the family. A lot of it is high-level travel teams, the development. And a lot of people come down here. Like, Georgia is like essentially like the mecca, like travel baseball. Like, at the end of the year, like at the end of the tournaments, they come down here and play WWBA, like East Cobb, Lake Point. So it's just a breeding ground for baseball talent, honestly.
It is. So at what point did you realize that baseball was something that you wanted to do long term?
I'd say really like the first time I started like really throwing hard. At first, like honestly, I was in a band. Like I would play trumpet up until like the end of senior year, getting like college scholarships for a band and everything. It was just whichever was more. It was really my decision, to be honest. But I knew that it was going to be beneficial in the long run because I actually started to enjoy it, and I started seeing results with the hard work I was putting in it.
So at what point did you start like getting serious offers from schools, college schools?
I say my junior year summer, like COVID summer. It was like because the summer before I was like 84, 86, and then I came back like 1992. So that really like put more eyes on me as I just went out and started throwing how I should have at that time.
Okay. So were you impacted by COVID? Because I meet a lot of guys that say like their recruitment process was heavily impacted by COVID. Like guys, let's say they commit to a university and then those seniors get an extra year or those juniors got an extra year. So when they come in as freshmen, they're like bumped out even more. Did the COVID affect your recruitment?
I wouldn't say it affected it in a negative way. Honestly, I'd say it actually helped me because I was able to use social media as a bigger platform since people weren't really outreaching to each other on more so an interpersonal level. So I was just able to boost my social media and just continue to pump out videos of what I'm doing, just reach out to coaches via email, Twitter, however, whichever platform. So I'd say that it actually helped.
That is a good point because all the coaches were online, so they wouldn't necessarily have to go to Texas to check somebody out. They're all like, all the games were like streamed and everybody's using social media. So that actually is a really good point. So you committed to Georgia State right out of high school. What went into that commitment?
I was in good contact with Dalton Martinez. He was like the former assistant coach up there, and I played a few like tournaments with him. And I was talking to the pitching coach as well. So I was really just in constant communication with them for like quite a while. And then the more like I went on a visit and everything, I liked the campus. I liked what they were doing with the program. So it just felt like the right fit for me, and it was very close to home considering I'm from Atlanta.
Yeah, it's definitely right in your backyard. So did you compete a season or did you just redshirt?
I just redshirted this year.
So what kind of stuff were you like soaking up from being around a college baseball program for your first time?
Yeah, the program, it was definitely a high quality program. I know it was a lot of guys in the program that were very talented and very skilled. And a lot of people, it was really like the little things they did every day, like just coming in practice, got 6 a.m. wait to get there at 5:30, 5:20 instead of like 5:45 or like right on time. It's just like the main thing was like it's the small things that help build championship teams. So like just keep holding each other accountable, like just little things like that. Just putting 100% in each day.
Okay, so what made you decide to move on from the Panthers and enter the transfer portal?
Well, essentially, it was more of like a personal thing for me. I just felt like I needed to be somewhere where I could showcase my skills at the level that I wanted to be. And honestly, I felt like that wouldn't have been the place for me to do that for the next upcoming years.
So what was the transfer portal experience like for you? Because I know once you're in high school and like you commit, you probably feel like, okay, I'm done. Was it like starting all over for you, or did you already have Grambling State in mind?
Now, honestly, I mean, when I entered the transfer portal, I just went in like, just I'm going in. Look, this is me. This is what I got. Just if you want me, reach out to me. If not, then I mean, oh well. But a lot of schools reached out to me like really as soon as I entered the portal, like within like the first like 10 minutes. Like seriously,
Jeez.
it was like it's like for real. Like it was just one of those experiences. It's like I mean, a lot of people say it's like hit or miss, but I mean, it was hit for me, considering like I never really got off of social media. Like I just did what I was doing before, and just continued to like post all my videos on platforms and just reach out to people that I was highly interested in. But it ended up working out for me.
So that's awesome. I feel like no, I can see how it would definitely be nerve-wracking for some people. So is it just like a huge database and then like coaches are alerted, like recruiters are alerted who enters? Like how do they know somebody entered like the portal?
I'm not sure how they get notifications that there are people are into the portal. I do know it's a big database with like new names coming each and every day. But I just know that like for me, what I did to make it known, I just went on Twitter and was posting videos talking about enter the transfer portal, phone number, email, contact information, everything like that. Just putting myself back out there.
Okay. So what programs were you considering? We know you're at Grambling now, but what other programs were you considering?
I mean, for me, I really wanted to attend an HBCU. So, my top three were like Grambling, Jackson State, and Southern, like all in the SWAC. So yeah, between them and I was considering a couple of campuses too, but it was really like HBCU for me.
You say you were considering what? It had went out for a second.
I said I was considering going to a couple of JUCOs too, but it was like
Okay.
I was leaning more towards HBCU.
So why? What? I mean, why specifically? Were you trying to play HBCU baseball?
Well, I'd say like typically like there's like a stigma of like HBCUs not really producing like baseball like draft picks overall like recently I'd say, and but that's really been changing recently, even with this year with multiple players coming out of the draft, including one player from Grambling, a catcher, and a lot of other guys in like indie ball contracts, like draft league and stuff like that. And I just felt like, I mean, if you have the skill, like the eyes are going to be wherever you are. So I just wanted to continue the tradition of like producing draft picks out of HBCUs.
That's fact. So John Garcia. So I actually talked to him. It was a tournament, Grambling versus FAMU. Ralph Gar, Bill Lucas Classic.
Right,
So
right.
that's when I met John. They also have, Shamar Page. He threw a perfect game.
Yeah, definitely. He saw a pitcher for sure.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't get drafted. I'm like, because they were like, he was the 36. He was either 32 or 36 pitcher in NCAA history to throw a perfect game. I'm like, sheesh, nobody picked him up.
Yeah, it's big numbers, man. I'm telling you, he's definitely the guy.
Yeah, he's definitely fire. So you say you were considering Southern, Jackson, and Grambling. Those are three big dogs right now in HBCU baseball in general. So why Grambling though, besides Southern and Jackson State?
Well, for me, I like what Coach Pierre has going on at Grambling, like the culture he's trying to build. Like if you talk to him, he'll tell you like he wants to take a black HBCU team to the College World Series. Like, like he probably says it enough for like everybody to know in the world. But I just like the culture they have there. Like I like the facilities, everything else they have going. They had a really good season this year. Just missing a few pieces. I just feel like I could be another piece to add to the puzzle to help them get further in the World Series run.
That's awesome. Yeah, Pierre Davin, he's really cool. I think I met him once, but I engaged with him a couple of times on Twitter. He's definitely a cool dude. So we talked about Stroman and we talked about Shamar Page. So those are two black pitchers that we talked about. And then you, Jeremiah.
Right.
So I wanted to talk about the lack of black pitchers in the big leagues. Is that something that you noticed, or is that just something I noticed? That's something I'm making up, or is that like a real thing?
I mean, it's definitely prevalent. I wouldn't say issue because like there are more like players coming up in the farm systems now, but for a while it wasn't really that many. Like, you could almost like count them on hand. I definitely see what you're saying right there.
So why do you think that is? Even like in college, like outside of HBCUs, of course, or even on the high school level, like I never really see that many black pitchers. What do you think? Why do you think that is?
I mean, it's kind of like a two-way street, I would say, because on like one hand, like there are black pitchers, they're just not like in the major leagues yet.
Mm-hmm.
I say like with the even with the MLB develops like pipeline and stuff, like all the players that have come through that recently are like coming up through like the farm systems. Like even like a close friend of mine, like Xavier Curry, like he's in AAA right now for the Indians, well, Guardians. So like a couple other guys like Taj, Bradley, Mark Church, a couple of my guy Tink Hintz, like those are all guys like black pitchers coming up through the minor leagues right now. But on the other end, it's like I'd say like throughout like travel ball, guys will be like pitchers will be like black, throwing, and then like somewhere throughout the mix of that, they'll be put in a position because like coaches see like higher upside as a black guy, I'd say in center field or shortstop rather than on the mound.
So they come and we just gotta wait like 3 or 4 years, is what you say.
Just wait a little bit.
So, as somebody, you've pretty much been around the game. I believe you said middle school, so for some years now. So, what do you
definitely.
like about like the sport and the overall culture, and then what do you want to see change?
I mean, well, for me, it's like I like having to be consistent. Like baseball is a very like trendy sport. Like you could be, I'd say from a pitcher standpoint, you could have about like 3 or 4 outings where you're just like blowing through everybody, just going crazy. And then you could have like a short stint where you're just like you can't get anybody out, you can't throw a strike. Like it's just feel like your world's crumbling down. So it's really just like having to stay level-headed and consistent through everything.
And then I said, what do you want to see change? But then also, I wanted to follow up on that. That is something I do feel bad, like for pitchers, because y'all are like on display. You know what I mean? Like everybody makes mistakes, but y'all are literally like alone on display. Like everybody sees all y'all mistakes. So I do like feel bad for y'all.
Yeah, all eyes on you, man.
So what do you want to see change just overall?
Like overall, I'd say like more inclusion. Like me coming from like the inner city, like baseball is not really like presented to us as like, okay, if you do play this sport, you can go far with this. I mean, because essentially like the inner city kids kind of get bought out of baseball because like it's so expensive. But I'd say like because most people I know that I grew up with, they play like basketball, football, go to college, stuff like that. But I definitely want to see like the inner city like more involvement within the inner city youth baseball.
That's a good answer. I like that. That's actually funny because I was recently, Deion Sanders was recently on Desi Banks' podcast, and he was talking about like why Black people aren't involved in baseball, and he was like, "There's 2 reasons. One amongst multiple reasons. He didn't say these are the only 2 reasons, but one reason he said was because there's no cheerleaders in baseball. Like, so maybe guys don't want to play baseball because." You know, there's no cheerleaders. I don't know. He said girls don't want to come to the game. And 2,
Man, never there.
Never. You think that's a thing?
I mean, I'd say from if I'm a little kid, like I can go to a football game, see some cheerleaders while I'm playing, get a little adrenaline going, or just swinging a bat. I mean,
it is a lot more hype. Like as a kid, it's way more hype around like the basketball game and the football games. Definitely. I can definitely see what he's saying there.
I can definitely.
And then he also said, like you said, the price of like the tournaments, like if you want to play on the top team, like how much that costs. So that is interesting that you said that. But Jeremiah, I got one more question for you. Just overall, what are you excited about the most for your next step? Grambling, playing in the SWAC, and HBCU baseball overall.
I mean, I would personally say that what I'm most excited about is just being able to be in an environment where I can compete around people with a similar interests as me. Like everybody wants to win. We're all like cool. We're all brothers. Like everybody just wants the same goal. Just want to win. And I'd say I'm just ready to like showcase my stuff. I mean, realistically, like I haven't pitched like. Last time you interviewed me was like really the last time I was throwing like for real until this summer. So
what?
I'm just ready to like seriously like.
When you say for real, what does that mean? Like in the actual game setting?
In game, like stakes on the line situation. Like before I pitched this summer, it was that around that time.
And then who are you playing with this summer? Collegiate league?
Yeah, I was in the Northwoods. I was in the Battle Creek from like the Northwoods, like Great Lakes division.
Okay.
From like Michigan.
So you're gonna be ready when it's your time. You're gonna be ready, itching.
They're gonna see.
So what are you excited about for HBC baseball overall?
I mean, overall, I would say like the HBCU experience, like getting to see what that is, like all it's about. Because I mean, I hear a lot of people talk about it, but I feel like it's one of those things that you won't really understand until you experience it for yourself. And more so like being around just a lot of people like me that are just very talented at baseball, and we all just have the same goal of just getting to the show.
I love it. I can't wait to see y'all in the College World Series, since maybe that'll get done during your tenure there, maybe not. Regardless, it's still going to be fine.
Either way.
Well, guys, I'm Symone. This is Jeremiah Newman. He is a right-handed pitcher, former Georgia State pitcher, now incoming Grambling State Tiger. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.